Here's another interesting thing all cultures have. This is only discovered about 15 years ago. It turns out that even though the world is filled with an incredible assortment of musics, such that you could go experience the music of another culture and to you it would be pure noise and vice versa. Despite that, all cultures have this particular tune in common. Na 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 na. Musically, that's a minor third, a perfect fourth, in a major second. Na 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 na. Children, rhythmically it might be different, but children in every culture taunt each other with the minor third. Na 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 na. Every culture. They may not use the word na, but it's that interval. That I don't know why. I just find that to be extremely interesting. It's just one more thing that points out the commonality of all of us, no matter where we're from or what we grew up experiencing. We've got far more in common than we have differences. You know, we know that now at the DNA level, especially. My God, we have more in common with with almost every creature on the earth. You know, it has 94% of our DNA at least. So, that's my preamble. Yes?
Would this be an acceptable time just to take a short
break?
break?
Oh, yeah, this is a great time.
Pizza.
Yeah, pizza.
It's so subjective, and you say people in music are kind of scared of trying to quantify things or do things projectively.
Well, it's, you know, I use the word ineluctable to describe music. You know, it's a way of saying the things that can't be said. So it's awfully, you can imagine, it's going to be really hard to quantify that. There are people, you know, neurologists that are kind of banging around with that, but my God, you know, the next frontier is probably brain science. We're infants. Yeah, we don't really know what's going on. You know, 100 years from now, people will look back at what we're doing and thinking with horror when it comes to neurology. And that's probably our best chance at quantifying what's really going on with art music in particular. But I will add this. Music is the only thing that I know of, or that I'm aware of, where the axiom familiarity breeds contempt is not only untrue, it's the exact opposite. You know, from your personal experience, when you get in your car and you turn the radio on, you don't ever start turning the dial looking for music you've never heard before, performed by a group you've never heard of, in a style you've never dreamed of, and so on. People turn that dial until they hear what they want, you know, the thing that they're already most familiar with, and hit their comfort zone, and that's what they want to listen to. And maybe when you're driving, that's best, I don't know. But most people, it turns out, make up their musical tastes at the age of 16 and then never vary. And that's weird to me because, you know, we don't do that with food. Well, most of us don't. I mean, I have a friend, he's 58 years old, you know, he still won't try Chinese food. He'll go, oh, I'm afraid it'll be too hot or something. You know, we know people like that, but we're not that guy, right? We're adults. We try something and then say we don't like it, you know, and we expand our horizons. I dare say by this point in your life, you've seen films that you didn't look at when you were a little kid and enjoyed them. You've, you know, gone to plays, maybe avant-garde plays. You've experienced visual art, read books, all kinds of things, and your tastes have expanded. But with music, the fact that most people make up their mind by the time they're 16 and never vary, it's not totally a person's fault. It's the one field also that's completely dominated by corporate culture, and you have very little alternatives. You have to be really, really proactive to go out there and find something different. And you have to be comfortable with the notion of bucking your peers too, because people are using music to identify their subgroups and so on. And so for you to go out there and buck that, it takes a leap of faith and a certain amount of self-confidence that you wouldn't have to do, you know, if you just decided that you liked a certain visual artist or a certain author or something like that. But back to what I said, with music, Familiarity does not breed contempt, quite the opposite. The first time we hear something, it might be off-putting, but every subsequent time we listen, we begin to understand it more. I don't know exactly what that understanding is, but with the limits of neurology we have right now, we see certain areas of the brain firing in response to new music, and we see certain patterns begin to form, certain connections begin to form with repeated listenings to a new piece. And the only way to enjoy something new is to listen to it more than once. And that's another thing that's hard to do. When I go to an art gallery, I can look at a painting, and if I don't like it, I can look at the next one. And I didn't invest much time. But with music, it's a time-based art form. And so you must, if it's a 20-minute piece, it takes 20 minutes. And there's no getting around that. Afterwards, you can fast forward it, play it backwards and everything in your mind. And the more you listen, the better you can get using that incredibly powerful recording tool in your mind. But the other thing that I've noticed is that if I go to a play or a movie or a ballet and I don't like it, I can shut my eyes. But when I go to a concert and I don't like it, I can't shut my ears. Because even if I literally go like this, it's still getting through. And it's still annoying me. And that bothers people too. Because that means it's a real commitment. If you go, hear something you don't know, and there's a good chance you already know you might not like it, you're there. You're there for the duration. And so, very few of us have that kind of time with the lives that we're leading. I say we should occasionally make time. But then again, I'm from that world. I'm tooting our horn, so people aren't going to listen to me. But I do think objectively that there are good reasons to listen to challenging good music, art music, classical music, avant-garde music, things written by people to stimulate the responses and the analysis up here, which is not rock, pop, certainly not country, or most of the other garbage genres that we hear on the radio. Yes, sir.